Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with me as your host, Derek Wingo, where we're bringing Gator Nation closer to their athletes through weekly deep dives and into player stories with exclusive behind-the-scenes access. Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with your host, Derek Wingo, brought to you by Florida Victorious. If you don't know much about Florida Victorious, they're a fan club that offers memberships from $15 to $250 a month that help support your athletes, help us to have opportunities just like this, and allow us just to have our voice outside of just being, an athlete with a helmet on the field. Allow us to do amazing things like this and several more. All right, we'll jump kind of right into it. I'm excited to have Chim as our special guest later on for the show, but we'll get into our fun fact. The team that has drafted the most Florida Gators in the NFL draft is the Steelers with 24. The team with the least is the Carolina Panthers, only with 1. That was Jordan Scarlett. Obviously, it looks like there might be a path to Pittsburgh through the Florida Gators, so it's pretty cool. Might end up in Pittsburgh. Well, jump right into a little bit from the Tennessee game, right? Not the turnout that we expected. Obviously, when you work so hard throughout the entire week, all the prep that you do and everything, and it doesn't end up being what you want, obviously it's frustrating, right? And it's so hard to be able to deal with that. But, at the end of the day, it's something that you can learn from, right? There's a lot of mistakes and things that were left on the field, and it's how can you prepare better and correct that for the next week. So we'll start off real quick talking about just the defense, right? Defense doing absolutely amazing, having 5 3-and-outs, 2 turnovers, some key guys. Jaden Robinson stepping up. Gosh, I got to see this young guy grow since he came here from to the University of Florida, having his big-time sacks, both of them actually, and just kind of stepping up, being a leader. I'm really thankful that I've kind of been able to see his journey and kind of what he's gone through to step up to the plate in the big-time moments. And then Jack Pyburn, obviously a guy that has been stepping up this season. When you talk about him, I mean, he's my workout partner in the weight room. So when you talk about a guy that's just, the dog mentality, the go get it, always want to just run through a guy's face, that is Jack Pyburn. And, when you're a defensive end in the SEC, I mean, that's what it takes. And that's a guy that I'm super excited. Obviously, last year, having his injury, be able to come back so fast, doing all his rehab and his amazing job. So I'm super excited to kind of see both of those guys actually being able to compete and play the rest of this season. Playing in Tennessee, we talked about it before. That is one of my favorite stadiums to play in. I think the monitor where it kind of tells you the decimals of how loud it got to like 122 decibels, which is absolutely insane. When you're on defense, you're able to hear a little bit better because the stadium's quieter. But on offense, you can't hear a single thing. So when we're on the sideline making adjustments while the offense is out there, and we're trying to talk to each other next to each other, and you can barely hear because it's just really, really, really loud. Obviously, Graham Mertz going down during that game, just terrible. I'm when you talk about the type of guy that Graham is, his professionalism, his maturity level, his preparation to the game, and you talk about just being a pro. That is the prime example of somebody who just has all the leadership qualities, someone who does everything the right way. I've got to talk to Graham a couple of times after it, hoping that he's able to have a successful surgery and be able to get kind of back going soon. But, his first response was, hey, like, how can I help you guys? How can I help, still being around the team to lead and, just still being around just as a presence and as a leader. And, that just right there explains and tells the kind of person that he is. So thankful always to have him around to be able to help. And then just excited for DJ to now have his opportunity and be able to have Graham Mertz right there by his side, to be able to support him, to kind of show him the ways and just kind of guide him on, all the experience that Graham has, being able to give that to a young guy like DJ. But I know he's ready for it. I know DJ is ready for it. I'm excited for him to have that opportunity to be able to lead this team and, do all the things that we still want to do, have all the goals accomplished that we're still striving to do. So I'm super excited for that. This week, 7:45 kickoff in the Swamp. Super excited for this rivalry versus Kentucky. I mean, playing at night in the Swamp is like no other. It doesn't get any better than that. So this is definitely one that will be a big matchup in the trenches when it comes down to it. And then just an SEC game, right? 2 teams battling back and forth. A big rivalry. It's always been like that through at least my 5 years of being here. So this will be a good one. There's been a lot of talk. Obviously you see it on ESPN, and then all the athletes kind of talk about it. The Heisman race, right? Who's your Heisman candidate and who's like going back and forth? Who do you think should win it? We talked about Travis Hunter. I mean, a two-way player. I got to see a little bit from the game. They popped up the impact players of the game, and it was Travis Hunter on offense, Travis Hunter on defense. That's just crazy. And then they pulled up also, I saw another stat was the total amount of snaps that Colorado has had this season and the total snaps that Travis Hunter's had. And it was almost the exact same besides taking away some of the special team snaps. I mean, to be able to play that much on both sides of the ball without just cramping up, I mean, just shows what kind of athlete he is, and not just being on the field, be able to make big-time plays. I mean, he's having interceptions on the defensive side of the ball and big-time tackles, and then going out on offense and having game-winning touchdown catches. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. And then Ashton Jeanty, right, through 6 games, 1,200 yards, 11 TDs. And they said he's on track to break Barry Sanders' record already. And then I saw another stat on ESPN that popped up, talked about Reggie Bush through 6 games, had 1,200 yards, and I think it was 9 touchdowns. He's already ahead of that. I mean, the guy who's smart at playing football, he runs hard, he runs fast, he knows where to go with the ball. So I'm excited to see kind of this race, all the different guys go up and back, kind of see what it ends up being. But the Heisman, how do you think the Heisman should be chosen? I know I have my opinion, and as listed as the Heisman, it's listed as the best college football player, period, right? That's how it should be. That's how it should be chosen, to the best college football player that has the best season throughout, everywhere. I think it weighs a little bit differently. When you talk about some of these big-time teams, when they go on to play in the playoffs and they go to play longer in the season, they end up having more stats. And obviously just more kind of fame when they're, playing in games like the national championship and all these different things. I think it weighs a little bit more when you talk about, winning the Heisman of a guy who's playing in a national championship and, performs really well, and then a guy who ended his season maybe a month and a half before. I don't think that's how it should be, but I think that might weigh in a little bit. So we'll kind of see how, Colorado does with their offense, and obviously Boise State being pretty well in their conference with both guys top leaders of the Heisman Trophy race. Another thing that popped up this week, I got to see it on ESPN, the Oregon and Ohio State game. If you don't know a little bit about it, the game was super close. And it was 31-32, right? 10 seconds left to go. The Oregon coach actually just came out and admitted this. They had this package called dog package, where they subbed in a 12th man so that they would able to double coverage somebody, take the penalty so that they would have the 5 seconds run off the clock when there's only 10 seconds left in the game. Obviously, they knew that taking the penalty was, not in their interest, not what they wanted to do. But it ran 4 seconds off the clock, 5 seconds off the clock, and there was only 10 seconds left. Situational football. I mean, you talk about situational football. That's what you work at all week long, right? Each week you're working all these different situations, and you never know when they're going to pop up. And when they do pop up, it can be the difference in the game. It can win you the game. It can lose you the game. So if you don't practice these situations, it's something that could hurt you in the future. And obviously Oregon found a way to, bend the rules a little bit and see where they could benefit. And, their coaches came out and admitted that, hey, we called the dog package. We worked on it all week, and it was able to help us in the end game. So I don't know if there's going to be a rule change. There's a lot of different things that's been going around with just kind of, these rules. I know you guys see the fake injuries of guys going down to be able to have a regrouping, right? Get the right play call if a guy's able to kind of fake an injury. But then also sometimes you don't know if it's a faked injury, and I see it as a player on the field when a guy goes down and you're away. You're at a away stadium and everyone's booing, and it's tragic to see sometimes because you actually don't know if the player's hurt or not. And sometimes when he is hurt and you hear those boos, it's like, hey guys, come on, why are you doing that? But then again, sometimes there are instances, I know you guys have seen Ole Miss, where they've had a little, I don't know if they're actually injured or not, for the kind of their offense to be able to get back on track, get back on pace, not use a timeout, and be able to kind of make the right play call. They have added a rule, it was actually a little while ago, where if it's under 2 minutes, there's a 10-second runoff unless you're able to take a timeout. That's one thing that they've been able to use to kind of stop that from happening. But obviously there's still a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of different things that coaches are now finding in these different situational footballs to help them win the football game. So definitely, I think there's going to be some different rule changes. You might see these situations pop up later on in the season, but I guess we'll find out. When we come back, we'll have DK on the show to kind of talk about his kind of pass in his transition in the transfer portal from Wisconsin to the University of Florida, right when we come back.
Mertz drifts off the back foot. Caught. It's Dike again.
Welcome back to Wingin with Wingo for episode 6. Special guest, Chim. I'll let you introduce yourself, Chim.
Chimere Dike, number 17, play receiver for the Florida Gators.
All right, we'll jump right into it. Chim, you're getting old just like me. You know, we've been in college for a long time. We'll throw it back a while ago, back to your recruiting, kind of what that was like. Obviously, you played at Wisconsin before you came to the University of Florida. Your recruiting, what that looked like, and just kind of transitioning from high school to college.
Yeah, I mean, that was a while ago now, Wingo, but, back being a receiver from Wisconsin, it was a little tough to get recruited. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of those guys down here in Florida, so they don't go up to, the Midwest too much. But, I was able to get 2 offers. I had Iowa State, and then Wisconsin offered me my junior year, and I committed 5 days after. So it was a pretty quick and short recruitment for me.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely a lot of guys from the South don't like to go up there in the cold. Yeah. Definitely a place like Wisconsin. I can tell you, I've never been to Wisconsin. So you've always played wide receiver your whole life?
Back when I was really young, I played like quarterback. I played DN.
Played them all.
I dibbled and dabbled, but once I hit high school, I was a receiver. So
yeah. So we talked about just being in college for so long now. We've seen so many different changes. Coming in both during COVID. NIL starting up, and then just the changes from now, what it's been like. There's no NLI. Guys don't have to take SAT and ACT testing, all the stuff that's different from now with the transition to college, right? And, it's a lot different. And when we talked about your recruiting, it's just you're a prime example of a guy who is just able to work hard, right? Do all the right things and just work at your craft. To be able to be a starting receiver in the Big Ten and now in the SEC, I mean, I feel like that's a motivational story for you, just to kind of tell the people of like how it goes into working so hard at your craft and be able to make it to the next level and accomplish kind of all those dreams.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone through pretty much every single season of college football. Obviously, COVID our freshman year was definitely an interesting experience for me. I don't know about you, but being able to have NIL and work through that process and see it grow. But yeah, I feel like my whole mindset's never changed. Being able to be a guy who my teammates can count on and hardworking. I want to be a guy that sets the examples for others. And it's has led to me success, and I'm gonna continue doing it.
Yeah, you definitely are gonna continue doing it. So we talk about you being at Wisconsin, obviously with your buddy Graham Mertz. Graham going down last week, obviously completely tragic. I hope that he's able to recover well. But I mean, when you talk about Graham, I know you're really close with him. A guy that's dedicated, right? Bought in, his professionalism, everything that he does. Still gonna be around the building to be able to help out, be able to prep the weeks. You talk about your guys' relationship back all the way when you guys were at Wisconsin and now to here, right? How was that transition when you were kind of, in the transfer portal, knowing that Graham's your guy and your quarterback, and then coming to the University of Florida?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was obviously a big factor of me thinking about Florida when I was in the portal. Having that relationship with him, obviously on and off the field. That was something that I didn't have anywhere else. But when I got to Florida, being able to meet the coaches, being able to meet you guys in the locker room, kind of see the vision that you guys had and wanted to be a part of something and grow. And, when I went to the portal, I didn't want to just be transactional. 1 year experience, I wanted to be able to go somewhere and impact it. And what better place to do in Florida? Like it's
absolutely,
it's one of the best universities.
No, I mean, it's so cool when you're getting older and you realize that the guys that you started with, you're finishing with. And now also you're being able to go transition to that next level, prep for the NFL. Obviously, when Graham's able to get healthy, you guys are definitely be able to throw routes together, still train together, do all those kind of things. And it's super cool because you had this dream, back in Wisconsin when you were this little kid, and now playing big-time SEC ball and Big Ten ball, and now prepping for the NFL with a guy like Graham Mertz your freshman year who you're just throwing the ball and playing catch around with. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
No, definitely is.
So we talk about being a big-time receiver, obviously, breaking down what it takes, your prep throughout the week, any kind of important things that you do that kind of helps prep your mind or prep your body to be able to get ready for the next upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a whole process. Especially as you get older, you got to take care of your body a little bit more. But
getting older,
being able to be in your film study. Our coaches do a great job of having cut-ups for us on certain situations that we're going to see which coverages. But then I do a lot of like individual personnel study by myself. And it's an in-depth process, but like it's all worth it when you run out in the swamp on Saturday and you are able to get the experiences that we're experiencing. Like it's special. So
yeah, there's nothing better than running on the swamp and just we talk about the mentality of just getting your mind right. You're going through all the week doing your prep of the film work, making sure you're taking care of your body and the cold tubs and all the treatments and things like that. Me and Chim have a good little schedule going for the week and with the buddies. One of the things that we do is Fortnite. I feel like that's what's the schedule? I think it's Sunday to Thursday. Sunday to Thursday
8:30 through 10.
Every night we're playing Fortnite, and that's our like get away from football, kind of just have fun, talking with the guys, chopping it up, and then just getting wins on Fortnite. Yeah. So that's definitely.
Some people might say we're a little old for Fortnite, but I don't know if you ever get too old. I still have fun every single day.
Never get too old for Fortnite. All right, we'll get into a little bit more of the football stuff. You got to experience your first Tom Petty in the swamp. The atmosphere, you got to play in a night game there, a daytime game. What was that like? Just seeing the light show, everything kind of happening.
The swamp is amazing. Like the experience of playing there is something that I'll never forget. The night games are different though.
They're different.
Like
they're definitely
I remember like we ran out for UCF and I was like, ooh.
Wow.
Like, if you're not ready to play, you're ready to play now.
Yeah.
But luckily I've had some pretty good fourth quarter experiences with jump around at Camp Randall, but Tom Petty was also super, super cool. And my mom's like a huge Tom Petty fan, so she was all pumped. She bought a Tom Petty shirt for Tom Petty Day and everything.
She was ready.
So she was ready, yeah. She was ready, and she was excited for that.
Yeah, not only did you get to experience your first Tom Petty, your first hurricane recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's up in Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys get tornadoes or
a little bit blizzards.
Blizzards, yeah. I can't do the cold, but you got to experience your first hurricane. Well, two, actually, back to back. I was talking last episode kind of about just the prep that like the nutrition staff is able to do, the coaches checking in on you. Did you get a little nervous for your first hurricane?
Yeah, I did. I mean, first of all, I want to say I'm praying for everybody who was impacted by it, but I definitely was a little nervous. I didn't know what to expect. Luckily, we weren't hit too hard in Gainesville, which was a blessing, but it's definitely a serious situation.
Little different for you.
A little different than Blizzard. Blizzard shuts you down, but hurricanes I think are a little more serious. So.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking about the Tom Petty song, the atmosphere in the swamp. Playing in the Big Ten too, you definitely got to experience some pretty cool stadiums and atmosphere. Was there any I've never been to Wisconsin State. We got to play it. Was there any kind of crazy big games that's crazy loud that you got to experience?
I mean, anytime we played like Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, like one of our rivals, or a really good team. But I remember we went to Ohio State in 22.
The shoe.
And that's when they had C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison. And they're up front. They were nasty. And they had it was a 7 p.m. game, and it was blackout.
Oh.
And we ran out of that stadium.
Those jerseys are sick.
And they took it to us, and it was like you were stuck in a nightmare. Like there was no way.
No way. Yeah. I think I remember. I think Marvin Harris was wearing an Apple Watch. He had the Louis Vuitton cleats on.
And you were just looking on Instagram after the game. Like, dude, this guy. Like he's a great player, and they have a great team. So it was definitely one of the cooler experiences I've had.
Yeah, no, I definitely love traveling to some of the away games just to have that experience, kind of see what – I'm always excited to see what their end of third quarter, fourth quarters, the song going into it when the stadium gets super excited. For this year, I'm excited to go to Texas. I've never had a chance to go there. I didn't take any visits. So I'm excited for that stadium. I've heard it's pretty loud. It's going to be super cool. We just got to experience Tennessee last week. That's one of my favorite stadiums to play in with the checkerboard. I know they had the little kid always popping up on the Jumbotron. Everyone's getting super psyched for. And then I'm excited for you to get to experience the Florida-Georgia game. When you talk about that, it is split down the middle, red and blue. Yeah. That's one that's absolutely the same. And then obviously the team out west, Florida State, that game is always a hyped up in kind of state rivalry. What game this season are you kind of most looking forward to? Not just like playing in the game, but also just kind of the atmosphere of what it's going to be.
I mean, I think, we're fortunate. We play some really good football teams, so it's every single week we have a good challenger ahead of us. But I would say like the Florida-Georgia game, like being able to experience that rivalry, I think going to Tennessee, playing in rivalries in the past, rivalries are definitely a little bit different.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
the SEC is a little bit different.
The fans get crazy, too.
I'm excited to be able to see that. My cousin went to Georgia, unfortunately. So she's going to be at that game and some of my cousins, and it's going to be a fun experience.
Yeah, that'll definitely be fun. We were just talking before the show about some of the things you do pregame. Right. I feel like every athlete kind of has their maybe superstition or something that they'll do before. You were telling me, what do you do each game that's kind of, just different, that kind of gets you fired up, gets you going when all the kind of adrenaline hits?
Yeah, I think probably the only weird thing I do, I feel like I'm pretty normal. But when we run out of the tunnel, I sprint full speed.
Full speed,
head down sprinting because I want to get my legs warmed up. We might have to go out for the first drive. And
that's your warm up.
Not a lot of guys do that. So,
that's your warm up.
Yeah.
I remember it's actually funny. I have a video of it too. I haven't really showed anybody. But during the SEC championship in 2020, we were playing Alabama. We're coming out. And I was all psyched. I'm ready to run. I'm in the front. I just slipped. It was all on TV. I just slipped and fell and got up so fast and started running. I was like, oh my gosh. So I mean, obviously that experience running out of the swamp is like no other, right? It's insane. You see the 93,000 people all screaming, looking down at you, the fireworks going off. Another thing that's super cool, obviously, that Florida has is the Gator Walk, right? You talked about, at Wisconsin, you guys had a Gator Walk. Most schools do. What was it like having kind of experienced your first Gator Walk? I know it's crazy. There's tens of thousands of people all just watching you walk down.
I think that's when I realized I was in the South. Was that Gator Walk, like how much the South loves football, how much Florida loves football, how fortunate we are to have the fans that we have and the sport that we do. Gator Walk was unbelievable. The amount of fans that come out and support us is amazing, and I think it's something that I try to kind of slow down and cherish.
Yeah. Do you keep your music playing, or you take them off to kind of?
I keep my music playing, but I make sure every single little kid I walk by.
Yeah, give them high fives.
Being able to be in a position to have that kind of impact, is something that I try not to take for granted. So
yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, Gator Walk is absolutely amazing. I turned down my headphones just so I can kind of hear everything kind of going on, and then obviously see my parents and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's experience like no other, making sure you have your suit on, right, looking all tidy, and kind of stuff like that. All right, we'll jump right into the rapid-fire questions with Chim. I never kind of let the guys see him. It's kind of okay. So it's just kind of off rip. All right. So, 9 questions in 90 seconds brought to you by Florida Victorious. Chim, let's do it. Question number 1. All right, would you rather catch a touchdown pass or have a punt return for a TD?
I would say right now, punt return. Coach Houston's been working hard with our boys to get it. So
Getting close. Getting close to that. Wisconsin cold or the Florida heat?
Oof. It depends what I'm doing, but Wisconsin cold, I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
I can't do it. I can't do the cold. All right, if you could play another position besides wide receiver, what would it be? Quarterback.
Yeah.
Sleaner, like Graham Mertz.
Like Graham Mertz.
All right, your favorite activity outside of football?
Golf. Easily.
I thought he was going to say Fortnite.
It's close. Golf
and Fortnite. Golf and Fortnite. That'll work. Travel destination anywhere you wish to go.
Ooh, like the Bahamas. Anywhere on the beach.
Anywhere on the beach. Yeah. Just post it up in a little lawn chair.
Yeah, I like relaxing.
That works. All right, your dream job outside of sports?
Ooh, I'd say probably real estate, but then my other one's coaching, which obviously is in sports.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about you have a story yourself, being able to kind of coach younger guys into doing all that. $20 million signing bonus. You just got drafted. What's the first thing you're going to buy?
A house. I'm buying some land in Wisconsin. I'm building a nice house.
With all the cows.
Yeah, with all the cows.
All the cows in Wisconsin. All right, walking down Gator Walk, pregame song. What's the first one you're clicking?
Right now, it's Sorry Not Sorry by Lil Yachty.
That's
been my one. It's been getting me in the mode.
Favorite NFL wide receiver?
Easily Devontae Adams. Grew up a Packers fan. I'm Donald Driver, all those guys, Greg Jennings. But Devontae Adams was my guy.
I like watching the Packers play, obviously when Aaron Rodgers was there too, but I just can't do the cold. I see him play in the snow and all this crazy stuff. I can't do it. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different. I normally have the guys draw a picture.
I'm horrible.
We have not had the best artist on our team, so I decided to switch it up this week. Chim, you had the game-tying touchdown last week versus Tennessee to go into overtime. I want you to kind of take me through your route, your keys, kind of what you're looking for, where you're breaking it off, and kind of just like your progression that people kind of don't get to see. They think the receivers just kind of run out there and running routes. So you kind of breaking it down for us.
To like kind of draw it up?
Yeah, just like your route, what you're looking for, the defensive coverage.
I'll draw my half of the field.
Most people think you just run until you get open.
So I'll draw my half. They were in cover 2, so
is that something you see before pre-snap, your line looking?
Yeah, pre-snap, I saw the corner was kind of down at like 6 or 7, and the safety kind of had a little more depth. So I'm like, all right, they might be in 2. I knew they ran like a 6 flip, which is where they're running quarters to the boundary, and they're running like a 2 to the field. And I was like, all right. And I had a corner post. So as soon as the ball was snapped too, I saw the safety go to the half.
Got him.
And I was like, got
him.
And as soon as he did that, I just knew I had to sell my corner. So like as soon as he went here to the half, he's playing the half. This corner's in the flat.
See, most people don't realize this kind of stuff. What it actually goes into. The different kind of breaks, the different shells that the defense is looking, and then just kind of the option that you have as a receiver that you study all week on the film and all these different things that, come into just being able to make that big-time play.
Yeah, so it was basically, this was a look me and Trey got. So it was like the corner in the flat, safety going to the half. So I have this corner route. I know that he has a deep half, so that's his responsibility to take that corner. Obviously, the corner can kind of drop underneath. But Trey's working to grab him, so I knew like the safety was going to kind of panic if I sold it enough. As soon as I got the 10, I just whip head and eyes. Coach Gonzalez, Coach Decker, Coach Lucas, they always tell us about head and eyes. Helmet stripe. I was able to make a play in a big time moment, and unfortunately, we were able to get the win. But I think we're heading in the right direction, and we're beginning to put things together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, people don't realize what it takes, going into, some of these plays, the preparation, all stuff like that. So, it's absolutely amazing when you're able to break it down and let other people kind of see what it actually takes. But, that wraps it up for today. Chim, obviously, thank you so much. This isn't possible without Florida Victorious and everything they kind of allow us to do, to be able to use our voice as athletes to be able to kind of speak through what it's like for our experience, kind of what we go through, and just, what's on our mind on a day-to-day basis. So thank you again, Chim, and that's episode 6. Wingo out.
All right.
Cool.
Good job, dude.
Pleasure.